And a good Sunday, everybody. Today, of course, is March the 14th, 2021. My name is Jewel, and this is the Weather Channel of J7409. Boy, oh boy, we had a rocky Saturday afternoon and evening with the tornadoes in Texas yesterday. We're going to check all those out coming up. I would suggest that you do watch this video all the way through if you actually want to know what's going on and what may be in the future. Also, right quickly, if you haven't subscribed, I ask that you do so if you're into wanting to know what's happening with severe weather, snow, pleasant weather when we have that too, any sort of weather information. Please click the little J7409 emblem in the lower right-hand corner. Click all and click that bell and make sure you check off all. Now, let's start out with the general forecast today. As we take a look at my future radar, we'll turn it on right quick. Looking like the major winter storm is poised to bring heavy snow and those blizzard conditions still to parts of the central Rockies and the north central high plains today. Now, it should slack off by tomorrow if you are in these heavier portions where the snow's coming down heavily. We do have severe thunderstorms and heavy rain over portions of the central and southern plains today. That's going to shift towards the mid-Mississippi Valley by tomorrow, Monday, and critical fire danger continues across parts of New Mexico and western Texas. Now, a low pressure system continues to intensify as it expands its impact with multiple forms of hazardous weather across the central portion of the country today. Now, moisture from the Gulf of Mexico has been lifted ahead of this dynamic cold front, which continues to trigger frequent bouts of severe thunderstorms across the southern plains. Now, if you move a little farther north, it's heavy rain with embedded thunderstorms. They are expanding across the central plains ahead of a warm front, and it's associated with the intensifying low pressure system. Meanwhile, major winter storm currently in progress across the central Rockies and nearby high plains on the backside of the storm system. Now, the heavy snow and increasing winds are expected to bring blizzard conditions from parts of the central Rockies to the north central high plains today. An additional 2 to 3 feet of snow is possible along the front range of Wyoming and Colorado, while 1 to 2 feet could be quite common across the nearby high plains to southwestern South Dakota. Now, we do have blizzard warnings, winter storm advisories and warnings up. They continue to be in effect from the central Rockies to the north central high plains to the Black Hills of South Dakota. Now, the storm should reach peak intensity later today as it begins to wobble over towards the east into the central plains by tomorrow, and then it just should begin to weaken altogether. But in the meantime, strong to severe thunderstorms are forecast to shift eastward across the southern plains today, reaching the Mississippi Valley by tomorrow before losing intensity as they reach the interior southeast early Tuesday. For those of you who saw me come on live yesterday, I told you if we had this severe weather in Texas yesterday, I told you we'd have some more, then it's going to calm down, and look out. Please stay tuned for the severe weather forecast because it's going to reach up in intensity for a whole lot of people coming up this coming week. Now, as the weakening storm pulls eastward, there's going to likely be a swath of freezing rain and mixed precipitation moving through parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, reaching the central Appalachians by Tuesday morning. In addition, dry and strong downslope winds to the south of the storm are expected to promote elevated critical fire dangers across parts of the southern high plains. Outside of this major storm system, some light wintry precipitation is expected over interior New England today, as reinforcing shots of colder air move in from Canada. And you folks from on the map, I'll put it out like this, just like this over in Maine. Everybody north of where the arrow is pointing, you guys are under a wind advisory, and you're also under a wind chill advisory. It's going to get cold for you folks coming up. Could feel like 30 below zero. Now, it's looking like this is from Canada. This is going to bring Canada lows, bringing down colder air up here. But then on the other hand, much above normal temperatures are for the deep south ahead of a strong cold front. But everybody's going to feel a slight cool up and down the coastline here. I'm not talking cold, but it's not going to be like it has been before it warms back up again. Now, it's looking like that out west, this cold front from the eastern Pacific, it's going to bring the next round of unsettled weather into much of the west coast today. The Sierra Nevada should see heavy snow impacting the region tonight right into Monday as rain spreads into the lower elevations of the northern and central California area. Now, the system will then bring mountain snow across the Great Basin and northern Arizona, as well as the northern Rockies Monday night, when colder air settles from the west to the east across the western U.S. Now, by early Tuesday, much of the Four Corners region should see snow arriving, while a low-pressure system begins to take shape in the vicinity. I know you guys have had it with the snow, but this is what it's looking like. Now, on my future radar that you've been looking at, it goes through Tuesday. You can see, I mentioned yesterday, maybe Chicago was going to get a little of the storm in the form of snow. It's looking like it could be mixed precipitation, ice and snow, maybe rain. But this storm that didn't look quite so big, just a certain area here, it's going to move on across. Maybe even a little snow is going to happen with it up in parts of Michigan, as you can see, and also Wisconsin. Now, as we take a look at the severe weather for today, it's going to calm down a bit today. We still have a chance of a few severe thunderstorms popping up in the areas, as you can see, where the marginal is air, with the strong wind gust and possibly some tornadoes, but not like yesterday. Now, these tornadoes will be possible if they occur late this afternoon into tonight over a portion of the lower Mississippi Valley. Now, a brief tornado or two and marginally severe hail. It's going to also be possible across portions of Kansas during the late afternoon and early evening hours. So we'll take a look. The tornado chance has gone down a whole lot, folks. When we get over here right quickly, it should come over here. Let's see what's wrong right quick. And here we go with the tornado outlook. 2% chance, northern Louisiana, small portion of western Mississippi, large portion of Arkansas, and this area of Kansas. 2%. It could still happen. It has happened when it was 2%. I'm not saying it's going to, but folks, please be aware. Now, with the high wind and gusty winds, they should be at 5% chance of happening with these storms when they occur in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And for the hail, most of that, as I just said, should be in Kansas. That's what it's looking like right now. Now, I told you there was going to be a lull yesterday during the live show. It's going to be. Tomorrow, we just got a chance of maybe some thunderstorms popping up. But then when we get to Tuesday, it's going to increase, as you can see, for Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and a 5% chance outlining all the way down to Texas. But then, I've done a lot of soundings. Look at this. By Wednesday, it's going to be another hopping day, I'm afraid, folks. This is going to reach all the way down in the Florida Panhandle, as you can see, moving all the way up into Tennessee and western Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana. Portions of Louisiana are in the 30% chance for tornado activity and very severe weather. And it doesn't stop there when we get over to Thursday. This is high. Large portion of Florida, the Panhandle and the northern sections are in this at 15%, including Georgia, South Carolina, a large portion of North Carolina from the Piedmont all the way to the coast, and up around Virginia Beach, Norfolk, in this area here of Virginia. I've done a lot of soundings over the last few days, checking out where these severe cells may pop up and if they could turn into tornadoes, and yes, it's looking like many of them could. Please be aware, stay safe. This weather is on the way with severe chances of more tornadoes. Yesterday in Texas, there were 11 tornadoes. Thank you, Jesus. No injuries occurred. Now, as we look at the severity of this storm that is happening now over in Colorado and Wyoming and the panhandle of Nebraska, this shows through the next 3 days, through the 17th till Wednesday. I have mentioned that portions of Illinois would be affected. It should be minor, but you do have that chance that it's going to keep moving on across and you're going to have mixed precipitation, probably some snow, maybe some ice, and some rain mixed in it. Looking like that portions of Iowa and southern Minnesota, you have a very moderate chance of getting some snow out of this system as it moves across, and it's minor elsewhere where you see the yellow. Highest, of course, is in Wyoming and a little of Colorado down here and the Nebraska Panhandle. Also, South Dakota, you're going to be affected by it, as well as Wisconsin. And we have a system that's going to be coming in, as I said earlier in the forecast today, over on the West Coast, and it's going to bring a chance of some snow in Oregon and California, as you can see. It's minor, except for these very few places that are very moderate. You could pick up some good snow in these orange areas by the next 3 days. So be aware of that and stay safe. Taking a look at the temperatures for today, you can see where the warmth is indeed, from Florida, stretching all the way up to Virginia. Warm, 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 and as we head west over into Texas, not too shabby in Oklahoma, in the mid-60s, looking good. But as I said earlier, a large portion of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and New York, cold air, cold, very cold air is pushing in from Canada. It's looking like your daytime highs are going to be very, very chilly, and with the wind chill on top of it, these areas, especially in Maine, you could feel as much as 30 below zero. So please be aware of this. It's coming. It's here. It's going to progress throughout the day. Don't get caught short. Other temperatures. Now, these are Fahrenheit temperatures. As we move to Colorado, Wyoming, you're staying around freezing and in the 20s for Wyoming for the most part. Down in Colorado, 33. You move a little further south, 40. Now, over in New Mexico, this area right in here, including Roswell, this section of Mexico that I'm circling, you're going to have very high winds today, and you're going to be under a fire watch as well as many other places. Washington State, mostly in the 50s, moving eastward in the 60s. Oregon, looking like a pleasant day with highs in the mid to upper 50s. California, in the mountainous range, 50s looking good, moving further south, 60s, all the way up to 65 as we move on down. And when we get in this area, maybe 70 for Southern California. Nighttime lows tonight. Let's start in the east over in Maine. Woo-wee, 7 degrees. This is Fahrenheit. Even colder, even colder. You may hit 0 and below, like I've said, in portions of New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Also in the northern sections of New York. It's going to be cold. Long Island looking like maybe 24. Over around Massachusetts, cold air is coming down for you guys. It's going to be anywhere from 10 to 18 degrees tonight. 16 in Connecticut. Cold, cold air coming down. Prepare. Also for Michigan, you're going to be cold in the upper portions of Michigan, cold even in the southern portions in the 20s. Now, as we move a little further south, looking like, well, before I go there, New Jersey, the most part, you guys should be in the mid-20s tonight. And in Pennsylvania, anywhere from 16 to 20 degrees. West Virginia's looking like 27 for a nighttime low. Somewhere around there, the cold air is going to push down. Warm spots are going to be in Florida. A little of South Carolina, you're going to be in the mid-50s. That's not bad either. Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and southern Louisiana. Those are going to be the very, very warm spots. Moving on across, as we see right now, Texas, you're going to fall down in temperatures a little bit. The Panhandle should be around 34. As we move over to New Mexico, 30s everywhere except the very northern portions with lows tonight in the 20s. That goes for Colorado. Moving up to Wyoming, you're going to be in the teens for the most part. Now we'll close out with the NDFD map. I'll let it look through right quickly. I'd also like for you guys to click show more down below. If you have any weather pictures you'd like to share with me of any of the snow or any kind of weather pictures at all, or sky phenomena pictures, please scroll down. You'll find my email address to send them to. Also, Ann Dale, Homestead at the Colony. Her link will be there. She's collabing with me right now. Check her out. Go over, say howdy, tell her Jules sent you, and make sure you subscribe. Folks, this is what it's looking like. Prepare. Severe weather later coming up this week, with a very high chance of tornadoes again popping up in certain areas. The snowstorm is going to progress easterly. More people are going to be affected from it, so please be aware and stay safe. Have a good day, a safe day, a blessed day. Thank you for everything you do for me, my friends. I love you all. And may each of you stay safe and have much peace, love, and kindness in your life today. Thanks so much for watching.